Now remember when I was talking about what's the capacity of our community? Somewhere maybe up to about 54 million. So what I did was I asked the board, I said, would you consider looking at the next projects on our priority list? Could we add a few more projects now to get things done if we still focus on staying underneath that 54 million? So the projects that I asked them to consider is, if we build 6 new science classrooms, what are we going to do with these science classrooms? The one that you're sitting in right now. Well, the recommendation is that we invest some money, come in and take out all the science stuff that is antiquated, outdated, but just turn these into basic classrooms, just regular general ed classrooms. And then maybe what we would do, not maybe, we would, is take the people that are in these portables that have been here since 1991 and move them out of the portables and move them into this building and get rid of the portables. So with a small investment now, we could transform these rooms, move the kids in, and get rid of those portables. Other recommendation is, if we're going to move the Olympic Peninsula Academy from here over to Haller, buildings D and A and D, go in and make some renovations to this facility. We've got a huge sewer problem right now. First of all, we have to pump up to the road. Secondly, the trees over here have basically damaged all the pipes, so we get sewer backups in this building all the time, to where we have to close down our restrooms and so on and so forth. Now, that expenditure is a little more, is outside of our normal maintenance and operations budget. So we would like to go in and fix things like that, renovate the rooms a little bit, and then move these kids here to here. We'd be adding space so we could add those 30 kids. And any time that we can add enrollment to our district is a good thing, because then we're able to get, there's money, all of you are paying taxes to support every child in the state of Washington. If these kids aren't attending school, then school districts aren't getting that money back. Olympia is keeping it. So we would like to be able to bring our kids into our schools and be able to get the funding for them. So we'd be able to increase that. Yes?
Those renovations include putting in windows?
I don't know, because we haven't done the design, but personally, absolutely. We want to be able to go to the simple things of natural light and climate control and so on and so forth. But we want to make sure, though, that we keep this within a reasonable package, too. Yeah. No.
Okay.
Yeah. And here's the thing, because one question, well, a question that's been asked a lot is, why do you need to build a whole new elementary school? Why not just take this elementary and fix it? The price comparison between turning this school into what it needs to be today will be as much, if not a little bit more, than what it will cost us to build a brand new one. Because what we would want to do here is, first of all, you would have to then go through and completely build new walls to support the existing walls, to bring out the seismic standard. The plumbing has to be replaced, the electrical has to be replaced. You're gutting the entire building and building new. And then we would want to make sure that we would not continue to leave the exterior doors, but connect these buildings with interior hallways, so that kids are walking inside all the time and not outside. So that's why we've determined to go ahead and just build a whole new school. The gymnasium at the high school, which is not included in these recommendations, it was built in 1954. It still has the original wood floor, but it's warped, it's bubbled. We had 11 garbage cans last spring catching the rainwater through the roof. We did spend $30,000 this summer and put a seal over the top, and it seems to be holding right now. But the floor, the bleachers are not in compliance. So people have said, well, just fix that one. It will be $60,000 less to renovate that facility than it is to build a brand new gym. Because it'd be about $19 million, but it's only a $60,000 difference in the estimations. So in some cases, to renovate is a good way to go. In other cases, it's better to build new. Therese, and then.
So, sure, if the Helen Haller was being renovated, then those students are displaced. Then you don't have space for them to go to school anymore.
Build a new school first.
Yeah, we'd build the brand new school
Right,
first,
but-
move the Haller kids out. Oh.
Remodeling that,
Yep.
then you lost that space.
Excellent point. That's one of the things that we're trying to keep our eye on, and that is how do we be the least disruptive to the students who are attending school during the construction? And that's another reason for us to build off-site, because we can build that, won't affect kids going to school today. Then when we get it done, we can move those kids out. Now we can go in and renovate Haller the way we need to, and then move the OPA kids in. We want to convert the community school. Oh, I'm sorry, thank you. Ah, I know, I got so excited. Go ahead.
I want to talk about the elementary school that you want to build. Have you already figured out how so you're not having to build another school later? What's kind of like your idea that you got?
Long-range vision?
Right, because,
Okay.
you have so many kids, so I assume that you're going to build it to support that, maybe more, I don't know. But then again, you're going to get more kids, so what's your vision for that?
Great question. I got an answer for you.
Good.
First question is, how big do you think an elementary school should be? Because at one point, before Haller Elementary, or before Gray Wolf was built, there were over 900 students attending, before Gray Wolf was built, there were over 900 students attending Haller Elementary. This, where the Boys and Girls Club is right now, this was all portable classrooms out here. We should never allow an elementary school to get that big. The research clearly shows that for elementaries to be most effective, they should be about 400 kids. Fiscally speaking, 600 is a better number. Just in terms of school budgets and so on and so forth. So the range is somewhere between 400 and 600 kids is what we should have in an elementary school. If we build one new elementary out to the east, and we add some classrooms out here to Gray Wolf, at what point will we need a third elementary? I believe Sequim will need a third elementary school in the future. It might be 10 years from now, it might be 15 years from now, because we're not growing fast enough to be able to warrant just building a third elementary. It's not like Henderson, Nevada. They were building a school every single month for 3 consecutive years because they were growing so fast. We're not going to do that here. But we are going to grow just a little bit every time. And we know, so far, Brian has been predicting this for the 2 years I've been here, that our elementary enrollment is going to increase because when you look back to 2008, 2009, there were a lot of babies born in Clallam County. We were number 1 in the state for live births in Clallam County per capita and number 7 in the nation. I know it doesn't make a lot of sense because, wait a minute, 2008, that's when the economy went in the tank. Everybody was losing jobs. Well, we had a lot of babies here, and if you take the live births 6 years ago, add 10% to that number, we can calculate our kindergarten registration or enrollment for the next year. Pretty darn close, and Brian's been pretty on it. Well, you get a big group of kindergartners, because last year we had 187. We thought we were going to have 160. They come in, well, they're first graders now, and now we got another 170 kindergartners this year. So next year, this group goes to second grade, this group goes to first grade, and we'll have enough. So pretty soon, this whole wave starts to go through the elementary school, and now you got 20 kids, 30 kids more per grade level, times that times 6. That's a whole another 180 kids. So how are we going to handle that incremental growth over time? That's where this facility comes into play again. We will use these 2 buildings right now for OPA. These 2 buildings have 20 classrooms in them between the 2. What we have to do is build what we call a transition school. So either create, say, a kindergarten center where we bring all the district's kindergartners to the central part of our school district, to the central campus, or we create, say, an intermediate school, like just bring the 5th graders, or maybe it's the 4th and 5th graders. But that way we can subtract kids from the 2 elementaries, bring them here to the central campus because it'll be all the kids in the district of that particular age group. We did this once before in 1972. This school got too big. We went and built these 2 buildings and moved our 5th and 6th graders across the street. And we did that until 1979 when we built these two buildings and then moved them all over there. So that would be the plan, is that transition period, having space available in the event that we grow. Yes?
So now when you tear those buildings down, what are you going to do with that property? Or is that another day?
Well, we're going to talk about what we're going to do with the buildings we're going to keep, and then we can talk about what we do with the property as well. Okay? So we want to convert. Remember, we're going to tear down this portion, or the U-shaped part, and we're going to keep this building and the old gymnasium. And the reason we want to do that is that our maintenance department does not have a maintenance building. We have several little buildings. We've got the old swimming pool building that's right here on the high school campus. We use that to kind of throw some stuff in and store it. We've got the old district office out there on the corner, which is where our guys kind of hang out. That's where they start their day. We've got a wood shop built in the end of the community school here, but we're spread out all over the place. And so what we want is a centralized maintenance building. We think that we can take this building, the OPA building, which was built in 1979, when this was built or converted to a junior high. Because when you go to a junior high, you have to have 3 buildings added: a wood shop, home ec room, and a gymnasium. So that's why we built this building here: wood shop, home ec room, gymnasium. So we convert this to maintenance building, and then this old gym, which we're going to go visit here in a minute, turn that into a centralized warehouse. See, if we have a big truck come in with a bunch of boxes, they just get dropped off here at the district office and put in the hallway. What we need to be more efficient and more effective is a place where things can be delivered. We can receive it. We can verify we got what we ordered. We can make sure that everything came the way it was supposed to. And then now we can distribute it where it needs to go. So we'd like to take this existing space, put some loading docks, some bay doors, and then be able to create a warehouse there. So since this building is going to open up, because we're going to move the OPA kids, we think this would be a great way of fixing our current problem of no warehouse and no maintenance building. And then the last project on my recommendation list to the board to consider, and this is what I want you to go see here in a second, is that we have a district kitchen. Now, the district kitchen prepares the food for all of our kids, for all of our schools. We prepare it in one spot, we put it on trucks, and we ship it out to our other buildings. It is very efficient that way, rather than having separate cooks in each building and each having to have their own, the ability to prepare food. We prepare it in one place. The base kitchen is located right here between the old gym and the old home ec and the old wood shop. It's located right here in the center. When it was built in 1979, we had 1,200 students in the Sequim School District. We now have 2,800. It just is not able to really keep up with the demand. But the big issue is, in 1979, when we bought the appliances, we bought some great appliances, and I'm serious, because we bought them from the Navy. They were surplus off of some ships out of Bremerton. They're great machines, but they were from the 1960s. And they are now breaking down on us. We can't find replacement parts. We can't find any of the old ones around to even strip parts off of. And our guys are not capable anymore of being able to fix them ourselves. So we've got to replace our appliances. When you do that, you're going to have to replace the wiring. You're going to have to replace some plumbing. So we've got to do a modernization of this kitchen. But the other thing is that the freezer space that we have to store our frozen goods, and the refrigeration space that we have for the things that have to be in a refrigerator, and then the dry goods that go in the pantry, we can't fit everything in the space we have. So we have to rent space somewhere else, and twice a week we have a truck, we send a guy over, load up a truck, and bring it over to us. We could be far more efficient with our time, and we could save ourselves some money by being able to house our commodities right here in our kitchen. So, how much would those additional projects cost us? $2.1 million to renovate the kitchen, 1.7 million to do the science building that we're sitting in, another 1.9 million to do the renovations at Haller, and 830,000 to do the OPA building to turn into a maintenance building, for another $6.6 million. If you add that to the 42 we talked about earlier, it comes out to be 49.2 million for a total school construction bond proposal. It's underneath that target that I had of 54. It's under 50 million. Now what's the impact for us? Remember, 2013, last year we paid $2.30 in total school taxes per $1,000 of our property assessed value. Next year you're going to be paying $1.60. If this bond is approved, whether the board chooses to run this in February or next April, it will take effect January of 2016. It will increase your property tax 64 cents for a total of $2.22 per $1,000 of your property's assessed value. Because the estimation is that the EP&O rate will dip down a little bit. We add the 64 cents, and that's how we get the 222. So it's less than what we were paying a year ago. It's about a third of what we asked for last time. We think we've prioritized the most important projects, though I think my high school staff would say, I think we need a new high school first, but you know, it was a tough choice. I mean, it really is difficult. We think if we do the high school, you have to do the high school pretty much all by itself because of how much it is. This will meet a lot more needs right now that we need to address.